So without wasting much time, sir, the floor is over to you, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So, like I said, let's just jump right into what we have for today. So, what is pricing? Now, pricing is technically the process. Now, remember, there's a reason why I had to highlight some of these things, right? The process, not just the process, but what is this process about? The process is about deciding, and what are you not deciding on? How much to charge for what? You see, what is pricing? Pricing is a process. And then, what is this process about? Decision. It's all about decision making. That means since it's a process, meaning there are steps. There are steps to making a decision. And what are you making decision on? On how much to charge. Charge what? Your products or your services. So as a designer, it's all about charging. It's all about the process, the steps, the things you need to put into consideration when you are about to charge or bill your client, to send the cost, to send an invoice to your client regarding whatever services they've requested from you. Now, one thing you need to understand that pricing is not just all about picking a number, right? It's not just all about picking a number. It's not about you waking up and saying, "Oh, a client has reached out to me that they want a logo design, and okay, I'm going to give the client so and so amount." No, it goes way beyond that. It involves thinking. It involves thinking about the value of what you are offering. It's all about the value. You're all about you. Everything we're going to be talking about today is going to be basically based on the value. And it's all about how you sell the perception, how you sell the value that people will need or your client will need to see from you. Now, it's all about thinking about the value of what you're offering, how much customers are willing to pay, and what similar products or services cost. Now, there's this ideology. That is why clients are very easy to compare us with outsiders. But you see, the mistake many designers do is that instead of you comparing yourself with people who are charging higher than your anticipation, you're comparing yourself with people who are charging lower than your anticipation. And that is very, very wrong. So in as much as some clients will come to you and tell you that, "Oh, okay, you're charging me 150 for a logo when a designer can give it to me for 2K. Instead of you trying to compare yourself to the client, trying to compare yourself to a designer who charges 2,000 naira or 10,000 naira for a logo design, why don't you try to sell yourself as a designer, or try to sell yourself in the category of designers who are charging 300,000 naira for a logo? So instead of trying to understand the similar, because definitely in the market, see, you can go to the woman at your street, at the downside of your street, and buy maybe pick me sachets or pick me that refill. You can buy it for maybe, I don't know how much you sell it now. I'm sure it's very, very costly. So you can go down the street to your house and just get a pick me for maybe 200 or 250. But when you go to a place like ShopRite, they're going to sell it to you way higher. Is it that they are selling a different kind of pick me? No. Is the size different? No. Is it bigger? No. It's just because of what? It is ShopRite, right? And ShopRite have positioned themselves as people who sell things that are authentic and valuable. So when you go there, in fact, nobody's even there to come and be telling you, if you don't want to buy for 250, if you don't want to buy for 300, you give up. You understand? Unlike the one you go down the street to the woman at the kiosk and you're pricing picnic with her. But if you go to ShopRite, you don't get to price. Nobody's even going to have a plan. Either you buy or you go. And that is how I believe designers should position themselves. But where the psychology or the part where designers make the mistake about this is that they make it in a sort of a rude manner. You never even reach anywhere. You don't really position yourself. They follow other people, they drag through that. And that is very wrong. Now, I get the fact that you need to position yourself as a designer that has value. But at the same time, you need to position yourself as a designer who understands that this is what your client needs. Because you need to also understand what your clients are willing to pay. Is very, very important. You also need to understand what your clients are willing to pay. I made a content the other day on Instagram and I talked about pricing. And there's this part of pricing that people don't talk about a lot. And that is the part where every designer is so focused on the value they are bringing to the table. But you forget the value your client is bringing to the table. Like, what value does your client have? Although I didn't include it in my slide, I just wish I did. But one thing you need to also understand that as much as you want to charge your client based on your value, you also need to understand the value of your client. Now, let's say you want to charge based on your value, and as a designer, your worth or your value for a logo design is 200,000 naira. and a brand as big as Coca-Cola comes to you, are you going to charge them that same Coca-Cola brand? Like, are you going to charge such a big brand 200,000 naira for a logo design? Definitely, you're going to charge them higher. Why? Is it because your value has increased automatically? No, it's because of the value of the client that is coming to you. So sometimes, as much as we want to charge based on our value, you also need to charge based on the value of the client. The amount you will charge your friend who wants to open a hair salon, she comes to you and say, hey, my friend or my bestie, please design logo for me. The amount you will charge her, it's not the same amount you will charge a big brand like Vicky James. And the price you will give, I don't know, for those of us who know Vicky James, I don't know if you guys know her. For those of you who know her, well, I'm sure most of the females here will know her. Now, the price you will give to Vicky James is not the same price you will give to somebody like Louis Vuitton. Okay, let me use the fashion industry. A friend of yours just started her fashion stuff and she wants a logo for her business, for her fashion business. When she comes to you as a friend, what you will charge her is not the same thing you will charge Vicky James. And what you will charge Vicky James is not the same thing you will charge a brand like Nike or Louis Vuitton or Gucci. The price is going to be different. Now, is it that when you were charging your friend who started, did your value reduce? Of course not. Your value didn't reduce. But what was the issue why you charged her lesser? It's because of her value, the kind of client you're dealing with at that moment. Then when you were charging Vicky James higher than your friend, is it that your value increased between, like, is it that your value increased to the level of Vicky James? Probably yes, or probably no. But the reason why you're charging Vicky James the amount you're charging her is because of the value of her own brand. And then when somebody like Gucci or Louis Vuitton comes to you and you're not charging way higher in millions, is it that your value increased also? No, of course not. The value didn't increase as much as that of Louis Vuitton. But because of the value of the client that came to you, because you understand what or how much the customers are willing to pay, enables you to charge. So when you understand these little things about pricing, it enables you. That is why when I see designers that we always be saying, and charge your what, I'll be like, top, charge your what. It's not all the clients that will come to you, not all of them will be willing to pay you amount. It doesn't mean that you have lesser value. It just means that is the value of the client at that moment. When the lady that designed the Nike logo, she told them $35. Many of you, I'm sure you cannot charge the logo for that. Ever. Like at this moment, you can't charge anybody $35. I'm sure many of us can't charge $35. $35 should be around 50 to 60,000 naira, if I'm not mistaken. Now, many of us won't be able to charge that amount, right? But a lady charged Nike $35 for her logo. But what happened? As the brand grew, the value of the logo grew. It is not. Now, one thing to also understand is that sometimes your product or the services you are rendering might not even carry any value if the brand itself does not have any value. That is why when you charge your family members or when a family member comes to you for a design services, they don't value it. Not because what you did is not a good job. That was why when I heard somebody say, when you do a good job, it equals the value. No, sometimes you will do a good job and it will not be valuable. It is not because what you did is not good. It's because the client does not understand the value of what you've done for them. Now, that doesn't mean that you're a bad designer. In this case, it simply means that the client does not understand the value of what you've offered. So when you understand that, okay, I need to understand that it is not just all about what I am charging the client. I need to also understand what the client is willing to pay at that particular moment. It will enable you to know how to now sell the value that will match their view, their point of view. Anyway, this is enough talk for one page. We have a lot of pages to go. So let me go straight into what we sometimes miss about pricing. A lot of us miss this, and number one is that price doesn't just reflect cost; it conveys quality, skill, and even your personality. That was why when I threw that question, and I saw a lot of you guys answering me how you package yourself as a designer, how you present yourself, the quality of the product, and all of that. That's why I say it all comes into one. It is no one wins more than the other. All of them is what we determine how much you need to, or how much a client will perceive the value of them. So when you're talking about pricing, you need to understand that price is not just all about the cost. It goes way deeper. A lot of designers, when they hear the word pricing, they only stop at how much. They don't think about how far, how deep. They only think about how much. They don't think about how far and how deep. And that's how deep and how far is all about the quality, the skill, the personality. So I can come and tell you that I charge logo design for 150. You won't go charge logo design for 150. Knowing fully well that your skills are not up to my own standard of skills, definitely you are only going to shoot your own self in the foot, because nobody wants to a mediocre design. I'm just taking an example anyway. You understand? So you need to also understand your own skill. Be sincere with yourself. Many designers are not sincere. You know the capability of what you can offer, but because of greediness, you want to charge more. That is why sometimes when the client finally agrees, you see some of you will start. Let me quickly ask us this question, Seth. Let me quickly go to the comment to this. I want to ask people this question, and I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your feedback, guys. Yes, I want to hear your feedback in the in this session. Now, have you ever had a design project where you started to panic when the client agreed for the price? Like the client agreed for the price you gave to him or her, and they've not told you to go ahead with the project. How many of you have panicked? Like how many of you had the time? Like I don't know how to put the English so it to make sense. Like how many of you panicked? Like your heart started to beat fast after like the client has agreed to the project. The client have maybe deposited maybe 50% of 50% upward or 70% or whatever. Like how many of you actually panicked during that process? Like how many of you actually panicked when the whole thing happened? I don't know. Where is the feedback coming in? Should be here. Yes. So I would like to hear from you guys. How many of you panicked? Okay. Okay with me. Thank you very much for that wonderful insight. Yes. Okay. MC Lighter. Thank you very much. I know some of us might not want to share our experiences, but I won't lie to you. It has happened to me. It happens to me a lot. You understand? It happens to me a lot. There are some kind of charges you give to a client, even your conscience will begin to judge you. Like there's a way, there's some kind of prices you will give to a client, your conscience will start to judge you. And that's just a fact. Now, it is not that it is bad that your conscience is judging you. You understand? It just shows how much, that you have kind of like, I'm really charging some much. You should say I will deliver. At that moment, this kind of thing they call self-doubt starts coming in. There's this sort of self-doubt, it starts creeping in, and you start thinking, you won't be able to deliver, and all those kind of things. You might be able to deliver at the end of the day, but the truth is, at that initial moment, there is just that, I won't call it fear, it's more of just that tension. There is this tension that just come upon you, and you start to feel like you have cheated your client, sort of. And it is okay to feel that way, right? It is okay to feel that way. But the thing is, when you feel that way, you need to understand one thing. It simply shows that you've started to understand your own value. See, when you have charged a client a particular amount, or when you've charged clients a particular amount for a very long time, you tend to be so comfortable with that price that you feel that if you charge more, than you are cheating. Or you feel if you charge more, it does not still equal your value. But let me tell you something. It is okay to charge more. It is okay to go a little bit up. Because whether we like it or not, the designer you wear yesterday self is not the designer you wear today. Something must have developed, even if it is 15 naira development, add it. Let's say for every day that you are a designer, your skills are improving by 50 naira. If you charge a client 10,000 naira for a flyer design yesterday, charge a new client today 10,000 naira. Tomorrow, charge another one 10,100 naira. Because for every single day, I know that might sound a little bit somehow, but I don't know if any of you understand me. For me, I always review my prices every 3 months. For me, I review my prices every 3 months. If you came to me for a project in June, and maybe I sent you an invoice in June, and you did not do anything, and now you've come in September, or you came in October, or even this November, and you're expecting that I will charge you like what I gave you in June is what I will use to do the project, and then you're lying. I review my prices every 3 months. Now, I'm not trying to say you should do the same. That is why I didn't write it down in my slides. It's not like a functional how would I call it? How would I call it? It's not like a functional strategy, but it is just there for you to know. You can do yours every 6 months. You can do yours every 12 months. You can do yours every 2 months or every 1 month. It all depends on you. My own is every 3 months. Every 3 months, I review my prices. What I charge in June is not what I'm going to charge today. And trust me, by January, I'll review my prices again. What I charge any client that comes to me this December, between October to December, any price I give to you between October and December is not the price you will see in January. On that, you need to also factor in when it comes to pricing, is consider your environment. Although these things are not in the slides, but just like what I think our host Joshua, when I was saying something about you guys need to have a sort of jotter and your pen, because not everything I'm going to talk tonight is going to be in the slide. There are some things that are going to be outside of the slide, but it's going to still come back to the whole pricing. So you need to understand, because I'm not just going to teach, I'm also going to share experiences with you. You understand? I'm also going to share experiences with you. So try to review your prices as much as you can. It is going to really, really help you. And like I was saying, on that, you need to consider is your environment. Look, Nigeria is on the high rise. During Buhari, we were buying fuel around that kind of 160, and we're even shouting at that. Where is it possible? In the morning of the day they swore in Tinubu, in the morning I bought fuel for 170. Immediately, because they swore Tinubu on May 29th, 2023. On the morning of May 29th, I bought fuel for 160 something, I bought 170. In the afternoon, I was buying for 600 naira. In the morning, I bought 100 or something. In the afternoon, I'll buy 600. You want to come and tell me now that a client that I've already given price in the morning and say, I'm going to do this flyer for you, so and so amount. You know, agree pay that day. Then the next day, they're not coming to pay me that amount. Where I want for see money to buy food. I don't know if you guys are understanding me. So also always consider your environment. There's always this tendency that things are going to go. And that was 600, we're not shouting. Fuel now is about 1,200 in some good places. Some places are selling 1,300, some are 1,500. So imagine what you were charging when fuel was 600 naira. How do you think you are still going to be able to sustain yourself in your business now that fuel is 1,000 to 1,300, rest of it? So you also need to consider your environment. Commodity in the market is on the high rise. All these are factors you need to put into pricing. But let me go back into what we have today, because we're still going to be talking about pricing strategy. So let's just jump right into what we have today. So now the second part we mean is pricing speaks to the client's needs, budget, expectations. Their need, their budget, and their expectation. Now you're going to understand these few things as we go over, or as we go on into this session. You need to understand your client's needs, you need to understand their budget, and you also need to understand their expectation. Many of you have seen this meme on Instagram where they say a client's expectation versus client's budget. Know your client's budget. If it pleases you, work according to their budget. If it doesn't please you, my dear, it is not bad if you say no. I know we all need to buy Indomie and chop. You are hungry. I understand. But if it still doesn't please you, please. One thing people need to understand about pricing is that you need to make sure you have enough profits to handle the next project. This is a very critical. In fact, this is a deeper aspect of pricing when it comes to the financial aspect of the business, and that is something that, in fact, that's something I usually teach my mentorship students anyway. It's a deeper part when it comes to price, when it comes to your financial part of your business. It really matters, because when you are pricing your clients, there's another thing you need to note. You need to price your client ahead of the future. All these businesses you see today, do you think they are pricing based on today? They are pricing based on the future. They are pricing based on the sustenance of the future. You understand me? You need to start thinking more as a business than a freelancer. That's what I keep telling designers. Even if you want to remain a business, even if you want to remain a freelancer, you need to start thinking as a business owner. Once you start thinking as a business owner, trust me, you will have this kind of confidence in charging very well. You understand me? You need to think ahead, because let me tell you something, right? When you give your client a price and they pay you, you need to ask yourself this question: does that money sustain you till the next client comes? Like, let's say all things be equal, can that money sustain you to your next client? If that money can't sustain you to your next client, that means you're not making enough profit. There's a difference between profit. You just think that when a client, see, let me tell you something. Do you know that when you, I would like to see maybe if there's any comment in the session, but do you know that when a client pays you money, like when you charge a client for money, do you know that if you were paid 200,000 naira for a particular project, do you know that 200,000 naira is not what you actually made in that project? I don't know if do any of us know that? Can you guys hear me properly? Like, can you guys hear me well? Somebody said it's breaking.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
So, do you know that when you do, let's say for example, now you do a project of 200,000 naira, do you know that you didn't actually make 200,000 naira there? Do you know that what you actually made from that project is not 200,000 naira? It might be way lesser than you think. Because let's analyze it together. Let's say you charge a client 200,000 naira for a project, right? And that project took you 3 to 5 days to do. Let's say it's a logo and brand identity, although on a short note, the visual identity design project is supposed to take you more than a week. But let's just, for the sake of this class, let's say for example now, you did it within a week, which is about 5 to 7 days, and you're done with the project. Within those days, you need to buy food, you need to chop, you got to chop so that you can think straight. You need to buy fuel for the days that there's no light. You need to buy data, right? Because you have to access the internet to do what you want to do. Now, by the time you calculate all of these things, you might realize that you are going to spend roughly about between 50 to 80,000 naira, both fuel, your feeding, your data. You are going to spend about 50 to 80,000 naira, which means your actual profit from that project is 120,000 naira, not 200k. Now, when you think about things like that, trust me, the way you view pricing will change. Because many of us, when we charge a client 200k, we just said, oh, I don't charge 200k, I've hit 200k. Let me tell you something. Sometimes that 200k is not actually 200k. It is lesser than you think. You need to start factoring your expenses into your money. So when you are charging, put expenses. Don't just say the value of your logo is 200k. What about other things in your life? Your electricity bill, your fuel, your system, maybe, you got to power things up. You got to eat. You need to buy clothes. You need to pay for your house rent. Factor these things in. You get to realize that at the end of the day, by the time you remove the house rent, remove this one, remove that one, you say maybe at the end of the day, your profit in that project is just maybe 80,000 naira. I don't know if you understand. So anyway, let's just go ahead because there's still more fun things for us tonight. And then design pricing versus other services. Now, unlike products, many of us do products like the things you go to the market to buy, you just get to own them, they are physical things. So unlike products, design isn't just what you see, it's about solving problems, capturing ideas, and elevating brands. So these are things you need to factor in your pricing. You need to understand that your work is not something the client you need to buy and go and keep in their house and be seeing it every day. It's not a physical thing. It's not a product. It is services. So which means it goes beyond just what they have to see, but it needs to be what they have to feel and what needs to create this sort of emotional connection for them. So it is more about solving problems, capturing ideas, and elevating brands. And another thing again is that with design, value goes beyond deliverables. So it is not just all about what you are delivering in a project. And what are deliverables? Deliverables are those things that you deliver in your project. For example, now you are doing a logo design project. You got to, after the logo, you have to send the logo in PNG, SVG, maybe Adobe Illustrator 5 format or CorelDRAW 5 format. You have to send it in PDF. You have to send it in as a profile picture. You have to send it in the different variations. You have to do brand guideline. You have to do all those things. Maybe if you are good at animation, you have to do logo animation. All these things are what they call brand assets, right? They are called the deliverables that you give in a project. Logo design or visual identity for that matter. So these are deliverables. So you need to also understand that the value goes beyond the deliverables. It is about what the design makes possible for the client. Note that word. It is about what the design makes possible for the client. So you need to note that as much as you are delivering these things to your clients or this particular, design service, you need to also put into consideration, what is this thing going to do for my clients? What is it going to make possible for them? These are the things. These are why you need to separate the way other people are charging for their own businesses. Your own business is different. You're a designer. You're not a fashion designer. You're not a hairstylist. You're not a skincare person. You're not somebody who sells clothes. You are a designer. You are there to solve a problem. And apart from solving the problem, you're not just giving off things that will help their business to grow. You are also giving them things that will help their business to have a turnaround. You are giving life into their business. You need to think about that. You're like a god when it comes, as a designer, you're like a god. You create things. You create things. You are somebody who is breathing life, just as God breathed life into you when He created you. For those of us who are Christians, now you also need to understand that you as a designer, you're not God to their business. You're the one breathing life into their business. So you need to put that into consideration. Understand me? So you are making things possible for their business. I always tell designers one thing. I say, never you make a client have the control when it comes to your pricing. Many of us, we give clients control by being such a, will I call it a midget, or will I call it, we are kind of too afraid. You allow the client to control everything. Like you allow them brainwash you. You allow them talking you into what they think they need to pay you. Instead of you letting them understand that this is what they need to pay you. But rather, you let them talk you into what they feel they should pay you. Look, in this case, you are doing your clients more of a favor than them doing you a favor. What I mean is, we have a lot of clients who can be very, very psychologically rude. They think that because they are paying you, they are doing you a favor. But let's be sincere, let's be truthful here. If it is easy, no, they go on now. I'm not saying you should go and tell your clients that too. Please don't go and tell your client that kind of thing. Please, I'm not going to be the one that will give you the thing that you use to support your business. No. But basically, if it is easy, they should go and run it themselves. It is because it is not easy. That is why they are coming to you. So why should you then give them the authority and the control to control how they should pay you, as if they are doing you a favor? You are the one actually doing them a favor. Anyway, let's go ahead. Now, let's look at the science behind perceived value. Now, we'll be talking about the pricing ever since. Now, let's talk about the value aspect of things. Now, how does clients perceive value? You understand? How do clients actually perceive value? Now, clients perceive value in three ways. Okay? This is how different clients perceive values, and they perceive values in three ways. Although this is my own, you might find something else online differently, but this is my own. This is how, from my years of being a designer and working with a lot of brands and businesses, this is how I have noticed that clients perceive value. Number one, they perceive value by time. How much time is that thing going to save them? Do you know that sometimes a lot of clients are actually good designers, but they probably don't have the time to do those things by themselves. So they tend to hire you. So in this case, they are seeing the value of your services based on the time it's going to save them. That means you might charge them whatever you want to charge them, as long as you can deliver, they don't have a problem with it. Or as long as you can deliver on time, they don't have a problem with it. Or as long as you can save them that time, that extra time, they don't have a problem. So when you meet a client, try to, you might not necessarily ask them directly, but from your communication, I call it, during the way I run my own design agency, when a client reach out to us and be like, okay, they want our services, the first thing we do is that we do what we call a discovery call with them. It can be sort of a consultation or a discovery call, but that is basically what we do with them. From there, they get to know about us, we get to know about them, we get to know about their business, what they want to achieve, their mission, their vision, and their goals. We get to know all of these things, put all of these things into consideration. During this communication is when you get to know what kind of clients you are dealing with. Are you dealing with a client who values time? Or, let's go back to number two, are you dealing with a client who is more interested in what you have done? Now, this is where the other guy that talked about a good work, like when you do a good work, is what some clients use to determine the value, right? That is why you see some clients will be like, no, they are finished. Just this simple thing. Now, if you are dealing with such a client, that means those are the clients that see time more as, like, the more you spend on a project, as the more time you spend on a project is how much they feel they need to pay you. That's why I do tell clients that, although Chris, do have kind of tackled this thing before, and he said that, although there's a way you can handle such a client, like, do you prefer to pay me more, let me spend more time on the project, or do you want to pay me what I'm charging you and I give it to you in the quickest time? Which do you value? You understand? But sometimes, especially when you're dealing with Nigerian clients, you might end up dealing with a client who sees a shorter time as you didn't do anything. No matter how good that design is, they'll feel you didn't spend time because they felt, no, you're already done. So when you're dealing with such a client, you need to know that, okay, these clients are the ones that they put money on. The more time you spend on the project is the more they feel it is valuable. So anyway, but in this case, when we're talking about time, we're talking about when you help a client to save their time. So you need to know the kind of clients you're dealing with. Then another one is what you've done. What have you done? The design you created, is it good? Did it solve the problem they want? They don't care whether you spent 1 year doing it. They don't care whether you spent 2 years doing it. They don't even care whether you spent 1 minute doing that design. As long as that design solves the problem they want, they're ready to pay you whatever amount they want to pay you. So you need to also understand, is this the kind of client you're dealing with? So this is a second way clients perceive value. Then the last one is how it benefits them. Now, they're not interested in how much time you spent. They're not interested in whether what you did is good or not. But they are just interested in what this thing you did, how will it benefit them? They're not interested whether you spent 1 year doing it or you spent 1 minute doing it. They're not interested whether what you did is very fine or not. Their own is this thing you have done. Will it solve my problem for me? This is on that kind of client. So these are the 3 different ways client perceive value. The ones that you're helping them to save time and stress. Then there's another one that see value as what you've done. How good is it? They don't care whether you spent a lot of time doing it or not. And the third one is how will it benefit them? Whether what you did is good or not, whether you spent 1 year or not doing it, their own is it going to benefit them? Their own is, as long as it benefits them, they're ready to pay you whatever amount they want to pay you. So these are the 3 ways that a lot of clients perceive value. So you need to know which of the clients are you dealing with. And I'm sure that from this explanation I've given to us, many of us might have already gotten an answer to some of the clients we currently have, and we might have been able to categorize them into which is which. Some of you have met clients who they only come to you because they feel you help them save time. Like they could have been able to do it on their own, but because they don't have the time, they now hire you to do it for them. Some of us might have come across some clients who they like it sharp as long as what you did is good. Like they don't care whether you did it quickly or you took your time to do it. As long as what you've done is good, they're okay with it. They're very patient. Those ones are a very, very patient client. And then we also have clients who they're not interested whether what you did is good or not. They're not interested whether you spent 1 year or not doing it. Their own is as long as it solves whatever problem they want to tackle, they are okay with it. So I'm sure many of us might have come across a few of these clients, and it would be nice to know which is which, because it is really, really going to help you in this situation. So now now let's go over into what we have next. I just saw another message from Peter Daniel. He's saying in the break, please, is everything all right? Is everybody hearing me well? Can you see my screen properly? Is everything
okay? So everything is okay. Everything is okay. Maybe it's from Daniel himself. Everything is okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Now this is now my reverse pricing psychology that I've used a lot on clients. Now, most of the things I'll say here are quite common. Many of them might have heard it, but why I call it my own reverse psychology, because there's a deeper part of this strategy that I normally use that many people might not have seen, they might not have experienced, and I'm going to break it down for you guys today. Now, this is my reverse pricing psychology. Now, I'm this kind of a person that I'm more of a thinking person. I'm more of a strategist. I'm more of a strategist. I believe in deep design thinking. I believe in manipulation. Now, not that I'm manipulating you to commit crime or manipulating you to cheat, I mean, I believe that we can always manipulate our clients psychologically to do whatever we say. More like you can hypnotize your client. If that's the best word to use, please don't cast me a bit. Don't call police for me. But this is just me giving you the scope of what I've also used for myself and for my own business. So I'm going to give you guys small expo today that you can use to also hypnotize and charm and use juju on your client. So go and use the juju that I'm about to show you guys today now. And this reverse psychology is a way of letting your client think that they are in control whereas you are actually the one in control. You know that kind of a thing where the boss think is winning and the actor, I pretty much remember now when we were going about and boss. The boss thinks he's winning, but actors still have a lot of things behind, and before the boss will think two times, actor don't win, that kind of a thing. So yeah, in this case, you are the actor, your client is the boss. So you just have to put them in these two positions. So now in this case, I'm going to give you guys this charm. So when you're dealing with your client, you just dust your hand. You know how they used to do it in all these Nigerian movies. And dust your hand and just blow the powder in their face and to just buy into whatever you're trying to sell them. So please listen carefully and follow along. Now, the first one is the package pricing. This is common among everybody, but let's understand something. Now, this is where you offer 3 tiers of option for your price services. It can be like the generic one people normally use is basic, standard, and premium. Some people can use maybe some people can use basic, pro, and pro max as Apple will do it. But the generic one that many people do is basic, standard, and premium. What this happens is that it helps your clients see the range of value and choose what best fits their needs. But you see, that is the caveat here. They will think that what they are choosing is what benefits them more, like it is the best deal. But that is how to take us into the next one, which is the framing technique. Now, this framing technique is where you present your top package first to establish a high value anchor. So you present to them every single thing that you're going to offer them, and that is going to be the highest. Now, with this, it will show you as somebody who is offering a lot of value. But then they will not think that the other packages are what they call a missed deal. But if you notice very well, there's something I did there. I say missed deal. But the missed, there's an apostrophe, like there's a hyphen between the miss and the EG. And why I did that is to basically explain to you guys that what is happening is that why they are thinking that it is a good deal for them, but actually it is a deal that is going to mislead them. So it is a missed deal, because they will think that because they have skipped your top package, which is the highest, every other package is now is the best for them. They think, oh, they don't hammer, that kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, now you actually hammer. But I'm going to explain that. Now let's go back to number 3, the bundling services. Now this is when you combine complementary service to add perceived value without necessarily increasing the price significantly. Now, it's not that the price is not increasing, but it increases without increasing the price significantly, meaning the price isn't all too much from the initial price, but it is still not what you are going to charge. Now, what do you mean by complementary services? Let's say you're a logo designer and a brand. Let's say you're a visual identity designer, for example, and you can decide to give them a little bit of social media design, like what many of us do. Maybe while you're branding their business, you can just add, okay, I'll give you 5 social media design alongside your branding package. I will animate your logo for you. For those of us who are logo animators and animators, or maybe you have a friend you can collaborate with that's a good logo animator. You can ask the person how much does he or she charge for logo animation. Add the price, maybe add small thing on top, so you still have your own small profit. Even inside on that person market, you have your own small profit. They get the idea now. At the end of the day, if you are going to charge your client a particular amount for just only the visual identity, but because you've added these small condiments, this small little condiments inside, you will now increase the price more. But at the end of the day, your client will not think, oh, okay, the price you just gave to me is too much, but I'm going to go with this one. At the end of the day, last, now you will get a pass. Now let me give you an illustration. And this is a quick illustration I'm going to use to explain to you guys. I hope I can zoom in. Oh, shit. Not zoom in. Just wish I could zoom in. Can I? Oh boy. Can't zoom in here. Yeah. I wish I could zoom in so that I can show you guys what I'm trying to explain. Now, what I have on my screen here like this now is on this part we have, let's say you are offering a brand and visual identity design project. Let me use this part now to explain to you guys what I'm trying to explain. Let me use this part to explain to you guys what I'm trying to. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Yeah, I have the main file. So let me quickly use this opportunity to zoom in right here. Exactly. And so let's say you're offering a visual identity design project, for example. Okay, now let's say you're offering a visual identity design project to a client. Now, please, If you have been listening to me before, please try and listen to me in this one. So the initial deliverables plus the other one we talked about, adding combined complementary services. Now, let's say the complementary services you want to add is, let's say from these are your delivery. This is what you're going to be offering your clients in this brand and visual identity design project. You're going to offer your client brand strategy. You're going to show them the mood board, sketching of the logo design, brand color suite, typeface, brand asset and showcase, which is the mock-ups and all those things. Then brand guideline. Now, watch the brand guidelines. So the brand guidelines contains 50 to 80 pages, Abi? And then you now have logo animation of about 10 seconds. And then you now have 10 social media designs. You're going to offer your client. And you're not going to tell your client that I will charge you $2,000 for this particular thing. I hope you guys are following. I'm watching you guys. I'm using my phone to watch at the comment section. I hope you guys are following me. Now, you are going to charge the client $2,000 for all of this. Now, this is the one you're going to showcase first, just like what we stated here. We say present your top package first to establish a high value anchor, which can make other packages seem like a missed deal. To your client, it will be a good deal to them, but it is actually a missed deal or a misled deal. Now, with all of these things, you're going to charge your client 2,000 naira. Now, the other one is that if you notice, there is one strategy now. So it goes straight into mood board, sketching, logo design, brand color suite, typeface. You still retain everything that you will need to offer your services as a brand and visual identity designer. But now, you now reduce the brand guidelines from 50 to 80 pages to 40 to 60 pages. And then your logo animation, you reduce this from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. And then you remove social media design and you say, I'll charge you 1.5. Meaning, they are going to miss out on brand strategy, which would have taken you a lot of stress. They are going to miss out on brand strategy, which normally, if you want to even charge brand strategy alone, that should be about $1,000. Because let's be sincere, if you really want somebody to do brand strategy for you now, their price is crazy. For those of you who know about brand strategy, you know what I'm talking about. Now, on a norms, if you wanted to do only brand strategy for them, you would have charged them $1,000 alone for just brand strategy. But now they are going to miss out on brand strategy. They are going to miss out on 50 to 80 pages brand guideline. They are going to miss out on extra 5 seconds logo animation, meaning the logo animation is just going to be basic. It's not going to be in-depth. It's not going to have any story behind it. It's just going to be basic. In fact, it's not logo animation, it's like logo intro, but you understand what I mean. And then they're now going to miss out on 10 social media designs, all because they're trying to save $500. But let's be sincere here. Between here and here, where do you think you're profiting more? I want to see your answers. Between the 2,000 and the 1.5, where do you think you're profiting more? I'd like to see your answers, guys. I'm watching with my phone, though. I can't leave here now. I'd like to see what you guys are. I would like to see your answers. Between the 2,000 and the 1.5, where do you think you, as a designer now, you're profiting more? Of course, you're profiting in the 1.5 because brand strategy, it will be very, very stressful for you. But now, you're going to remove it. Now, your clients will think they are gaining more here, but not knowing that they're actually losing more. You see the psychology I'm talking about. You see the reverse psychology, because now, to them, they have won. Because they felt, oh, I'm going to save $500 here. But the truth is that they're actually losing out on brand strategy. They are losing out on about a well-detailed brand guideline, and they are missing out on a well-detailed logo animation, and they are missing out on the whole 10 social media designs. Now, that's not the end though. Now, let's say you're not telling them, okay, 1.5 is too costly. Okay, that's okay. I'll give you $1,000, but see what will come with it. Mood board, sketching, logo design, brand color, and this one. Now, remember, no logo animation. Your brand guideline have reduced from 40 to 60 pages to 25 pages. $1,000. Now, between the 2,000, 1.5, and 1,000, where do you think your most profit is in? Where do you think your most profit is in? I want to see between the 2,000, the 1.5, and the 1,000. Where do you think your most profit is? Because now, if you look at the whole 3 tiers, the 3 options you're giving to them, because this is not like, this is your basic, this is your, what do you call it here? This is your basic, this is your standard, and this is your premium. Now, at the end of the day, you are likely going to still be gaining more from 1.5, because in as much as you are still going to pay somebody for the logo animation, but it's just 5 seconds, which maybe give or take maybe 2,000, 200,000 naira for the logo animation, you still have about what? You still have about a million plus in your pocket just to do mood board, sketch, logo design, brand code, which is the normal thing you would have actually done in the first place. But your client now might even go for 1,000 naira, thinking they are saving money, not knowing that they are missing a lot, but you are still gaining a lot. Because with $1,000, which is in today's naira currency, that is about 1.6 million naira something, you are just giving them only mood board, sketch, logo design, brand color suite, typeface, brand assets, which is mockups, and brand guideline, which is what you would even do on a normal day. You see where I'm talking about the reverse psychology, because your client have seen all of these things and say, 2,000 is too much. They'll prefer to go with the 1.5, not knowing that by going with the 1.5, if they should go out there to hire a brand strategist, they will pay times 2 of this 1.5, which is going to cost them more. So now, instead of paying $2,000 for getting everything, they are likely going to be paying maybe around $4,000 to get a brand strategist elsewhere, because now they've missed out on the brand strategy and they didn't get social media design. So for them to hire another social media designer now, or to hire a social media designer to design social media designs for them, they are going to definitely pay probably more than $500 for 10 social media designs. They're likely going to pay more than $500. You see that at the end of the day, you are going to gain more. So that is the reverse psychology I'm talking about. Here I talked about the whole package pricing, framing techniques, and points. Because to your client now, they feel that going for option B or going for the $1.5 or $1K will be better for them, not knowing that at the end of the day, you are the one that is actually gaining more with this than them that thinks that they want gaining, but you're the one actually gaining, not them. So that's basically it for that. And the other part is the emotional side of pricing. Now, we've talked about pricing itself. We talked about the value of pricing. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of pricing. This is going to conclude the whole thing for us. Now, the emotional side of pricing is that design pricing versus other services, this is now where the emotion comes in. Pricing isn't just logical, it's also emotional. So it's not just all about putting the value of yourself or the value of your clients or the value of what you're presenting to your clients. That isn't what should only be consigned when it comes to pricing, because that is like the logical aspect of things. You also need to talk about the emotional. And what is the emotional? Clients have fears. You understand? Because for a client to bring out $1,000 or $1.5 or $2,000 to pay you, they're already scared, right? They are scared of, what if I pay this guy does not deliver? What if I pay this guy runs away from me? What if I pay this guy comes to me with excuses? They're already afraid. So you need to appeal to those emotions. Now, you might not go and start telling your client that they can trust, because sometimes, in fact, that is even the number one red flag. If you tell your clients, trust me, in fact, your client is not going to trust you again. How many of us know that? That the moment you tell somebody, trust me, that is the moment the person stops trusting you, actually. So this isn't a time where you go and start telling your client that they should trust you, but rather there are ways you can present yourself for them to trust you. And that comes from the communication, just like what I stated earlier. I said that everything has to come with what? Communication. You need to learn how to communicate yourself to your clients. Now, how do you communicate? Let them see you as a partner, not somebody that they are hiring. Let them see you as a partner, not somebody that they just feel, oh, this guy have come to do services for us, to collect our money and go. Let them see you as somebody that if the business fail, it will affect you too. Put yourself in that position. Like, if this business fail, it will also affect me. When they start seeing you as a partner, when they start seeing you as part of their business, their fear reduces. Because now you've appealed to them that as much as I'm going to design for you and as much as you're going to pay me, but I am also invested in the growth of the business as much as you're invested in the growth of the business. Now, you might not necessarily tell them these things the way I have said it, but there are ways you will tell them without actually telling them. And what are those ways you can tell them? From your communication, how you relate with them, how you listen to them. Do you always talk above them, or do you allow them to actually express themselves before you talk? And when you talk, do you talk to ease their worry, or do you talk to make them even more scared and skeptical? And what do I mean by easing their worry? Now, a client can come to you and say they want a logo from you, and they've been trying to start this business for a while, You can start with things like, oh yeah, I truly understand you and I value what you're trying to build. I really see what you're doing and I congratulate you. It really takes a lot of guts, it really takes a lot of courage for you to venture into this space, even regardless of your competitors that are already making waves. You will still want to push it. Giving them those sweet talk and sweet assurances and encouragement. It will make them relax. Imagine you go and meet a doctor for a test. And the first thing that the doctor is telling you is that, you don't, this your headache, me, I don't know what I want to talk to. How do you think you're going to react? Now, let me sincere with ourselves. You go to a doctor, you've been having headache for 3 days now, and you went to meet your doctor, and you're telling your doctor that, please, doctor, and this headache I've been having for 3 days, and the next thing that is coming out from the doctor's mouth is, this kind of headache, I've heard that it killed about 5 people last year. How do you think you're going to relate? Like, at that moment, you start peeing your body. The kind of fear that will grip you. But even when the doctor knows that the headache will kill you, but you still see the doctor coming to tell you, and don't worry, we will take good care of you, and we are going to do everything in our power. At that moment, what happens? Even when the doctor knows that there's no hope for you, but with those doctor's assurances, it eases you up. It just makes you feel more relaxed. That is the same way you need to see yourself to your clients. See yourself as a doctor. See yourself as a therapist to your clients. When they come to you with their worry, with their fears, with how they hope to grow their business, don't just go about saying, anyway, I will charge you the logo for so and so. At that moment, it's like you're just interested in their money. So, but no, tell them, applaud them for the effort. Tell them that, what they are doing is great. You see the vision they are trying to achieve, and you're really glad that you are the one that they came to help them achieve. Just make them feel that they chose right. I don't know if you guys are understanding me. Let your clients feel that they chose right. That is all you need to do. So you need to appeal to their emotions. And the other part of the emotion is they have desires. Your clients have a lot of desire, right? They have a lot of expectation. What they really hope, they have desires and expectations about spending their money. They want, because when clients spend money, in fact, even you, when you spend money, you want that money to pay you back, right? You want some sort of return on your investment. So even if you have a girlfriend and you spend on your girlfriend, what happens? You still want to return on investment. Maybe the girl should follow you home. Maybe you took a girl out for dinner. What are you expecting in return? Maybe the girl should follow you home, and maybe you hope to marry the girl in future. The girl should be your girlfriend. There's some sort of reward you want, right? Same thing with your client. When they are paying you their money, they have desires, they have expectations. So you need to make sure that you see that it is not just about them giving you the money and you going carry that money to go and buy Indomie. But it's about you understanding that, in as much as they give me this money, they gave me this money for a purpose. They gave me this money for a reason. They gave me this money for an expectation, and I need to meet that expectation. That's what separates you and differentiates you as a designer when it comes to pricing. Appeal not just to the logical aspect, but also to the emotional aspect. And the other part is they want to feel secure, valued, and understood. Like what I was saying before, listen, communicate your value. Show them that you understand them. Show them that you value them and what they are building, and not just that you are there for their money. Show that you understand them. You understand the business they are building. You value their effort. You appreciate the fact that you are the one that they chose to come for that particular problem or that particular design project. Okay, and also make them feel secure. Let them know that they are assured. And how can you do this? Is by being transparent. You understand? You can actually do this by being transparent. And how can you be transparent? Let them know that you are going to be taking them on every single aspect of the journey. What do I mean? For every step you embark on in that project, let your client know that you're going to be keeping them in the loop. That is how you make them feel secure. Some designers, some of you, what you do is when a client pays for a project, the only time the client hears from you is when they pay you and you have confirmed the money that they're paying for the project, and when you're asking for your balance. That is the only time clients hear from you. And it's very bad. Take them on every step. Why I love using visual identity is because it's one part of design that has a lot of process, right? So for those of you who are more into flyer designs, you can see implement the same strategy. If you're into web design, UI, UX, you can see implement the same strategy. Now, and also I'm a brand and visual identity designer, so it's something that I sleep and eat on. So I already know everything about it. I'm using that as an example. So let's say, for example, now you have a brand and visual identity project you want to do for a client. Take them on every journey. The moment you are done with the mood board, first of all, First of all, do that discovery call with them. Have that discovery call with them. Get to know them. Let them get to know you. Get to know their business. Get to know the mission, the vision, and the goals of the business. That is how you make them feel secure. Number two, when you're done, they've sent you, you send them invoice with a good detail. Send them invoice. Don't go and be putting your price on WhatsApp like that. No, send them an invoice via mail or via whatever medium that they prefer. Send them an invoice. Once you send them an invoice, they pay you their whatever percentage you agree on, maybe 50, 60, or 70. They pay you that initial deposit. Confirm the initial deposit. Don't just go sign it. Confirm the initial deposit. Don't wait for your client to message you or to call you if you've received their money before you tell them that yes, I've received it. No. Immediately you get the money, inform them that you've gotten the money. That's number two. Number three, once every stage you're done, if it's the mood board, once you're done with the mood board, have a meeting with them, showcase the mood board to them, explain the direction that you've taken in the mood board. Once you're done with your sketches, show them the sketches. Tell them that, oh, sir, please, oh, ma, see the sketches, see the direction I'm taking. If you're done with vectorizing the sketches, let them in on the different options. Have that meeting with them. Have those sessions with them. Don't just make them feel that they are just blacklisted in the project. No, take them along each step of the journey of that project, and that is how you can make your clients feel secure in your design process. Okay, and then how do you now connect with your client's emotion? Number one, you listen. Listen. Be very attentive. If you are a noise maker in school, this is the time to discipline yourself. You need to listen. Be a good listener. That's number one. Number two, reinforce. What do you mean by reinforce? Reinforce how your services aligns with their goals. Okay. Many designers are so focused on what they're going to make, right? But no, if you want a client to be able to comfortably pay you whatever you're charging them, let them understand that you're on the same level with them, you're on the same page with them. Where they're heading is where you're heading. The goal they want to achieve is the same, is what is your inspiration. So continuously reinforce how your services aligns with their goals, giving them confidence that the investment will pay off. So always reinforce your idea with them, and reinforce that whatever services you're offering them is going to align with whatever goal they want to achieve with their business. And the last one is speak, but only when you need to speak. Don't just, like I said, don't talk over your client. Even if you are saying something and your client wants to talk, even if you are not done, keep quiet. Now, it doesn't mean that you're giving your clients the authority over you. No. It simply means that once you're a good listener, you will be a good talker. That is one thing people don't understand. When you learn to listen well, you get to understand better, and you now get to know actually what to say to your clients and how to solve their problem. But when you're the type that when your client is talking, you're talking, your client is talking, sometimes some of you want to cut it to your client. No, allow them express, even if it's going to take you, allow them express themselves. You understand? Don't talk over your clients. And even when you're talking and your clients want to say something, hold your thoughts. Allow them speak. They're the ones with the problem. And them know how the body they bites them. They're the ones wearing the shoes, so they know we're explaining them. Right? So allow them speak. Allow them express themselves. So listen, reinforce, and speak. And what do you speak? Speak to the benefits of the design. Don't speak to what you're charging them. Don't speak to the process. Don't speak on how the design is going to be beautiful and how the design is going to speak to how it is going to benefit them. You understand? Like something like maybe how it's going to improve their brand visibility. Okay, so instead of talking about what you're going to offer them, like I'm going to give the logo in SVG, PNG, I'll give you logo animation, I'll give you 5 social media design. No, talk about all those deliverables. Talk about how the whole services at the end of the day is going to help their brand to be more visible out there. So, like I said, the three ways you can connect with your clients emotionally is listen, reinforce, and speak. And then, how do you now communicate and reinforce your value? Focus on what matters, which is your services and how it is unique and essential for your client's goal. Number two, use case studies and testimonials to demonstrate value. Like, definitely, some of you might have worked with clients in the past. You have your portfolio, right? Showcase to your clients how you're able to help clients X, Y, or Z to also achieve their own goal. With this, you reinforce your value to them. You've communicated your value and you've reinforced your value. You can see that in this process, I'm not talking about how you should sell your price. I didn't talk about how you should sell your price. But by doing this, you not only sell your value, you also communicate your price. Because when you're focused on only communicating your price, you end up not selling your value. That is why clients go away. or that is why some clients they don't value, even if not all clients will actually pay for your services, but it is good enough for them to go knowing fully well that they were not able to pay, they didn't pay you or they didn't go with you, not because they didn't trust your services, but because they could not afford you. There's a difference. Not all clients can afford you. You understand me? But it is possible that all clients can leave you because you didn't communicate your value properly. But if you communicate your value properly and your clients and the clients still didn't come to your services, it's not because you didn't communicate your value very well, or it's not because they didn't even understand your value, but because maybe they just can't afford you at that moment. You understand? But if you're so focused on selling your price, you miss out on communicating your value, and that is why you end up chasing your clients away. But if you focus on communicating your value, you sell your price automatically. Like selling your price will just happen without you even doing anything. So, like I said, focus on what makes your services unique and essential to your client's goal. What your services, like how your services are unique and how it is essential for their goal or for your client to meet their goal. Not how your price determines what you're offering them, but how what you're offering them is going to benefit them. And then the other one is use case studies, showcase things you've done in the past. Even if you don't have much clients, okay, do dummy projects. Is it fictional project? Do it fictional. But the worst thing that many designers do now is that when you do a fictional project, you call it fictional. You let everybody know that it's a fictional project. No. But I know, stop doing that. If you do a fictional project, put it out there like it's an actual project. Like put it out there. Like it is some I don't know if many of you know there's some projects I've done in my portfolio that many people think is an actual project. So not all are actual projects. Not all the projects that I've done are actually a project. Not all of them. Like there's some let me just quickly show you guys my portfolio. Let me quickly show you guys my portfolio. So also done. So if I go to my branding services now, I can show you some projects. The way you position yourself sometimes really matters because, like I said, not all the time a client is going to come because everything not be Christmas. Right? That's why some of us they have 9 to 5 jobs. So that at least any month you don't have a client, at least you have your salary coming at the end of the month. Any day you have clients, at least. For example, now, this particular project. Anyway, as I was saying, for example, now this is like I call it just a fun project I did for a design friend, which many of us might know. Many of us know this girl called Ava Patterns. So I was just like, what if she has her own personal branding, right? What if she has her own personal brand? I don't know if you guys can see my screen. Okay. Okay. So what if she has her own personal brand?
Yes.
Oh,
But can
I
you
was
zoom
like,
in,
what
sir?
if Ava? Yeah, sorry, what did you say? Who was that? What did you say?
Can you please zoom the screen?
Okay, Zoom. Oh, okay, let me try to see. Okay, for example, now this is just a fun project I did for a friend in the design community. Her name is Ava Pata. Many of you know her probably from Facebook. She's more dominant on Facebook. Like she's more active on Facebook more than because many of you might know her. Ava Pata. So I was like, what if she has her own brand identity, like her own personal brand identity? So I was like, I just did a fun project. Although I showed it to her, she kind of liked it. So this is an actual like a fun project I did. And I had to do a little bit of case study on it. So at least tomorrow now, if a client comes to me and and they're like, please, I want you to brand my personal brand. At least I have a case study I can use to show to the client that I've done something like that before, which will enable me to sell it to the client. And if it's not that I'm telling you guys now that this was a fun project, you wouldn't have known that it was a fun project. You would think it's an actual project because of the care that I took into making sure that this project was done very well, you think it was an actual project. You understand? Everything was done well, like every detail from the copywriting to the explanation on what each color means, to what each font means, to every single aspect of the brand or of the branding. Yeah, I made sure that I was so intricate, I did everything so well, like it was an actual project. So tomorrow now, if I have an actual project and I have a client who comes to me and say, please, I would like you to, I want to have an identity for my personal brand or a visual identity for my personal brand. I would like to see what you've done in the past, or maybe I just want to sell, I want to ease them. I have a case study now I can show to them and say, oh, this is a case study I have for you to show you that, okay, this is something that I've done before for a personal brand. And with this, I can be able to sell that personal brand services to the client. Understand me? So that's basically what you can do. So sometimes, don't wait till you have real projects for you to have something to update your portfolio. You can also have something to update your portfolio regardless of whatever case it may be. You must always have something to update your portfolio. So if you're interested, you can just visit my portfolio whenever you like. Whenever it pleases you, can just visit my portfolio and you can see some case studies I have there. Anyway, back to what we have for today. So these are ways you can communicate your value and reinforce your value with your clients. Right? Don't wait till you have an actual project. Create dummy projects. Create fictional projects, but present them like an actual project. Because whether you like it or not, the same time and effort you will put into a real project is the same time and effort you put into that particular project. So why should you call it a fictional if you put the same amount of blood and sweat into it? So yeah. Now, how do you handle pricing objection? Because this part of the where should conclude the whole thing, because what is the point of discussing about pricing and the psychology of it if I don't talk about how you can handle when clients say no, they cannot pay you? So how do you handle it? Number one, discuss ways to reframe objections by highlighting the value, showing how your work impacts the client's business, and breaking down the return on investment. What this simply means is that when you're trying to explain, when the client tells you, oh, you are too costly and all of that, don't just go ahead and start saying, that is what I have to price you. You know, say things don't go for markets. You know, say everything don't cost. No, that's not how you should handle it. Because at that point, your client doesn't care how you feed your family. Your client doesn't care whether you're able to afford your daily bread. They don't care about that. So you're going to start thinking that trying to use the economy to say, see, that's why I said there's a difference between design services and other services. That's how I've been explaining it right from the beginning. There's a difference between design services and your own services, right? You have to understand this both thing, because you're offering value. You're trying to solve a solution. Sorry, you're trying to solve the problem. So don't go and start. If market woman in the market is selling yam and tomato is blaming the economy why her tomato is costly, you should not use the same excuse for yours. Because in this case, you're not offering commodity, you're not offering products, you're offering value, you're offering a service. So you have to think different. You have to think, because tomatoes is tomatoes, right? You can decide to use tin tomatoes if the fresh tomatoes is too costly. But design services is design services. You can't, it's either they get a good designer or they get a bad designer. There's no option B. Because the next person they might go to might even charge them higher than you're charging them. So you don't need to start using the economy, but rather reinforce and highlight the value you are offering them and show how that value or that your work will impact your client's business. And not just impacting their client's business, but also make them understand what it will do to their business if they don't go with you. See, clients are also afraid of, and not just afraid of spending their money, they're also afraid of losing their business. They're also afraid of their business failing. So this is now where the other part of the manipulation comes in. Use their fear to manipulate them. Use their fear to manipulate them. So they are scared. Because at first, they come to you and be like, okay, how much do you charge for this service? You tell them, I charge so and so, I charge XYZ amount. And they'll be like, no, now it's too costly. My junior sister's brother's son's grandson, grandfather that is dead but has resurrected can do it for me for 1,500. Yes, they might know somebody who might do it cheaper for them. Or is it the same value? So that is what you need to tell. So if they say, I know somebody who can do it cheaper for them, I know there's this comedy online where they say, when the client tells you, I know somebody who can do it cheaper, you tell them, I know clients who can pay more. Guy, go down for your clients, your business will fall. Don't follow those Instagram comments, I'm telling you now. You just for fun, just to cash flows. Those people that are even posting those comments, they don't even do those things. So, because just imagine you went to go and buy something in the market, and then the person say, just for this thing, just for this thing is too cost. Your market itself too cost. And the client say, nah, lie, not be say my market cost, now you will not get money. How are you going to feel? No, let me see with ourselves. How are you going to feel? You went to the market to buy something. And the person, you tell the person, say your market, every time your market to the cost, and the person say, my market no cost, and you will broke. So you know you'll get money. How are you going to feel? Let's be sincere. So now put yourself in your client's shoe and tell yourself if that is what you would like to actually tell your clients. You understand me? So basically what I'm trying to say, my system is low. Voila. Anyway, now what I'm trying to say is that don't go and tell your client that they are the ones that is not that they are not, they don't have money, or you have clients who can pay you more. No, or rather let them understand that instead of using that word, use this method. You're too costly. I know somebody who can do it cheaper. Then you tell them, of course. Sometimes, do you know what I normally do? Sometimes I don't feel like that. I also have friends. And if you want me to refer, if you want, I can refer them to you. They can do it cheaper for you. It's me that will even tell my client that I have people who do it cheaper. Cheaper than that's your cheaper self. I have people who will do it cheaper than the cheaper you're even talking about. What do? It's a way of manipulating, just a psychological thing. People, all of you like to watch, you're not watching Iron Man, and people don't watch all these mind-bending kind of movies. It teaches a lot anyway. Because whether we like it or not, most of these movies are based on books, real books that actually works in real life. So there's this new series I'm watching, they call it Irrational. Everything about the movie is all about psychology. They call it the Irrational. They're currently in season 2, so you can go check it out. It's everything about it just psychology, understanding how the human mind thinks in different situations. So when they come to you, and I know some people tell you that it's not the ideal way to go about this thing. I can't really tell a client that you can even offer them somewhere that they can do it for less. It's the truth. Do you know that when you tell them that, you have somewhere that they can even do it for less, you know what happens? At that moment, you've manipulated them into being more afraid, because now they're like, for this guy to have the mind to tell me that he can show me where I can do it lesser. That means, if I say, you get what this guy gets, we make him get this kind of confidence. I don't know if you guys are understanding me. There is this thing that comes with your client understanding that at that moment they just know that they are going to lose out if they don't actually hire you. So instead of you saying the whole I have clients who can do it, who can pay me more, tell them that if you have people who can do lesser, at what cost to your business? What value? Will you compare the value to what I'm going to be offering you? At what value? What will it cost you? What will it cost your business at the long run? And sometimes I don't, although this might be too extra, but sometimes I do it to my clients. Sometimes I do tell them that, well, if you think I am too costly, no problem. You can go ahead with the person you think is costly, but when things go south in future, know that I'm going to charge you times 3 of what I'm charging you today. That's what I normally tell my clients. It's a bold step to take. Like, it takes a lot of mind to actually do that, but sometimes it's also a psychological manipulation to make them have this, what they call this FOMO, FOMU, fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. When you let them understand that if they go somewhere else, there's something special that they are going to miss out from you, they'll start having double mind. So imagine boldly tell your client that, well, you can go with the person that is cheaper, but if things do not go well in future and you come back to me, I'm going to be charging you times 3 of what I'm charging you today. You see them that will tell you, okay, I'm coming, let me think about it. They might come back to a price, but trust me, it will be way higher than what they actually priced it for. Anyway, so how do you do this? For instance, if a client feels your price is high, Explain how the results of great design go beyond the immediate project and can influence long-term brand perception. Think long-term, like what I said earlier when I started, before the whole glitching stuff started. Think long-term. Don't just tell your clients what they are going to benefit from you just from the project. Think about how your project or how your services is going to benefit their business in 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. I had a meeting with a client the other day and I was like, the reason why we normally take our time and the reason why we normally take our time in our project and we normally go through the steps we take in our design process is because when we are charging people, when we are designing, we don't want to design something that in 2 years' time you are looking for a rebrand. We design something that will take you flexibly into the future. Like even if you want to expand into a new market, you don't need to worry yourself over a new logo. The logo will still work even in the new market you are going into. So we are not just designing for your current situation, we are designing for where you're heading. When the client begins to see that you are able thinking ahead, sometimes you're able thinking ahead of them, sometimes you're thinking into their future, they will know that this is the right guy for the job. There are ways you position yourself that you don't. So you can see that I didn't say anything about why we are charging you because no, you just when you sell your value, when you communicate your value, you automatically sell your price. It just works that way. But when you try to sell your price, you end up missing out because you end up not communicating your value. But when you communicate your value, your price sells itself automatically. Now, what are you going to go home with today, guys? Remember, pricing is more than numbers. It's a conversation about value, trust, and vision. So remember, it's about value, trust, and the vision. So value based on what you're offering them today, and value based on what you're offering them today. Trust because they have to trust you with their money, and then vision because what you're offering them today, how is it going to benefit them in the future? So it's about value, trust, and vision. Make sure your price reflects what you're worth and what you bring to the table. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble and make all the noise that I made today. Thank you for your patience. For those of you who stuck around even when the whole network, or even when I had the whole technical difficulties, thank you guys for sticking around. I really appreciate you. I am honored, and thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to Joshua. Thank you for the introduction to the admin of this community, Daniel. Thank you for the opportunity, and to the whole is it Prodeg or Prodigy community. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to your community. I really hope to do this some other time, maybe this year again or maybe next year. But trust me, when you guys want me to jump on the topic, I'm just a phone call away. I'm just a message away. So thank you guys so much. It has really been a pleasure hanging out with you guys this evening. I really hope that all my rambling was meaningful and it was valuable to you guys. And I can't wait to see what you guys, and I can't see your business, your design business. I can't wait to see your design business grow and, evolve based on the pricing aspect of things. And I'm really looking forward to everybody being successful today. Thank you so much.